Discussion that I have for you guys here today is going to move generations. Trust me when I say that. So make sure you watch the entirety of the content. But let me ask you guys a question just to start off with. Have you ever felt surrounded but yet alone at the same damn time, or stagnant? Have you ever felt busy yet unfocused? Have you ever felt like you are doing everything or present everywhere, but somehow at the same time, you are not progressing? Here's the truth that no one seems to want to talk about, especially when it comes to men, masculinity, and the pursuit of value on this planet, is that it comes to a point where real progression, real progress requires space. It requires isolation. Not to run away from people, but to run to what you're after, to get closer to yourself. Take a step back for a second. We're currently in a generation, it used to be referred to as the age of information. I call it the age of entertainment, or the age of distraction, where the world is so civilized that we don't have to worry about basic human requirements for most of us as much as any other generation that has ever existed on this planet. And it is so easy to live nowadays that people will spend 5 to 6 hours per day looking in a phone, receiving information nonstop. There used to be a time period on our planet where those 5 hours, it was necessary for you to go walk to a well in the next town over, or it was necessary for the preparation, if not the initiation, of a hunt. But that's neither here nor there. My point is that it's easy to be distracted, and it's easy to get yourself involved into things that have nothing to do with progression. So now let's get back to this idea of isolation. And I want you guys to understand this, is that when I say isolation, it's not talking about loneliness, because when you're lonely, you ain't doing anything. But isolation breeds preparation. Isolation is a season to rebuild. It's a time to refine your thinking, your behavior, your habits, what you stand for. And if you're serious about leveling up, whether it be your finances, your body, your mission in life, you might have to withdraw just enough to regain focus. And my question to you is, are you ready for that? It is impossible to upgrade your life or to level up if you're constantly, consistently plugged in. Constant connection will drain your energy, and most of us won't even notice it. You're checking your phone 1,000 times per day, saying yes to every invite, letting everyone else's opinion fill your head, as opposed to pursuing what you want, how you want, in a way that you want, so your own goals will sit untouched. I need for you guys to be able to understand, within your pursuit of happiness, the difference between having a busy life or a crowded life, yet not a productive life. There's a lot of people out there, and I see this consistently, that will surround themselves with busy work, but none of that busy work is on the critical path for results within their life, for outcomes within their life. And it bothers me that they can't understand that. The amount of times that I have young men reach out to me for consultation, and they'll say something to the effect of, I just don't know who I am as a person. I don't know what I want to pursue throughout my life. And then I start to audit their life. I say, well, what does your day look like? How long within a day are you figuring out you? And what you find is that their Netflix calendar is full. What you find is that their video game calendar is full. What you find is that their hanging out with girls calendar is full. But they refuse to isolate themselves from all of this busy work activity that doesn't amount into the goal of results? How do you expect to find out who you are or come up to one of the hardest questions that you will face within your life, which is, what is your purpose? What are you doing? How are you providing value to this world? How do you expect to figure all of that out if you're not spending time in figuring all of that out? That's why when I talk about isolation or the recognition of fake busy work, I want you to isolate wisely and understand that it isn't hiding, but you must love it because it sharpens you if done correctly. Because when you take a step back, your financial discipline is going to improve because you cut distractions. Your physical fitness will improve because you prioritize your time effectively. Your sense of purpose clarifies because you remove the noise that clouds all of the judgment around you. It gives you space to reset your standards, your routines, your mindset. But when you can re-engage, you're leading from a position of recognition of strength, not reacting based off of busy work fatigue. But it's because you took the time to understand, to isolate, to figure out who you are, to develop or execute with extreme focus. I have countless times within my own life where I've chosen to isolate. A couple of videos ago, I told you guys about how much of that I've isolated in order to create this YouTube channel. But for the friends that I had to ignore within that time, what they have come to understand through my communication, that it wasn't about cutting folks off. It was about carving enough distance so that I can upgrade who I was at that particular junction. Stop listening to the naysayers who said, "You're doing what? Why?" And just got hungry. And I was crazy until it worked. And when I returned, I was a better person, not only for myself, but then for others around me. So my G's out there, as you listen to this, let me ask you, are you ready, truly ready for a season of self-focus, a season where you can quietly build or rebuild if you had it before, so you can step back into the world a cleaner, clearer, stronger, more aligned version of yourself? Because understand, the ability to do that over a long period of time, the value that you derive or receive from that is what real independence will look like. It's not just wealth alone, not strength alone, but it's clarity earned in solitude consistently that you can derive value from. So later on in life, you can do whatever the hell that you want. All right, so I think that I've hammered my point enough. I just want you guys to understand that when you think through this idea of isolation, just understand you don't have to disappear forever. Like I said, there's straights, narrows, dips, and valleys throughout your life, ebbs and flows, if you will. A period of ebb is going to look different than a period of flow, right? When you're in your flow state. But sometimes the next level that you have to ascend to demands that you step away. Not because you're distant, but because you're prepping, you're preparing. So make space for that work. Because the men who do, they always come back unstoppable. That's my thoughts here today. Hopefully some of the words that I have said here will motivate you to be the best version that you absolutely, positively can. At the end of the day, as men, we have to get really comfortable with being isolated, with getting it in. Don't over-isolate. You still need community. You still need relationships. But when you know what you have to do, and you have yet to execute on it, you must isolate and get it done. All right, guys, that's my thoughts. Until next time, let's get active. Peace.